Hey there, and welcome back to Teach Them Diligently 365. I am really excited about the content that we have lined up for you this month. This is the first video of the month, but it's actually the last one that I'm recording because I wanted to be able to kind of set it up and give you an idea of what you can expect during the rest of the month. So we are going to be doing a really good in-depth look at the different homeschooling styles that are out there that we throw around these terms, really trying to help you understand what they mean. And Lord willing, that will give you a great idea of how those different styles will fit into your personal family, your homeschool, and give you some really great ideas and tips and hopefully the freedom to homeschool in the very best way for your family. In the weeks ahead, we are going to be talking to Sonia Schaefer as she discusses Charlotte Mason and who she was. What is that style of homeschool? How will it fit in a family when your children are little all the way up to when they are in high school and beyond? We're then going to talk to Mary Alfs from Classical Conversations and discuss the classical method of home education. Very interesting discussion that will give you some insight as to what is unique about that particular style. Then in the last week of this month, we're going to talk to Carrie Beck and really look at a number of different styles and see how each of those can kind of fit into what you're doing as well. This week, we are going to delve into more of a traditional textbooks type of a style. But before we do that, I want to give you a little bit of foundation for why these discussions are happening in the first place. When I first started homeschooling, I heard all of these words thrown around: classical Charlotte Mason, eclectic, unit studies, all these things, and I had no idea what anything was. And in all honesty, even though I have been greatly privileged to know a lot of the main players in these different styles, the different authors and so on, I still don't know that I could have told you specifically what each one was and what the considerations for each one was as you were trying to make your decision about how you should homeschool your children. And so even as a veteran home educator who has talked to thousands and thousands of people over the last several years, this series was greatly informative for me, and I think that it will help me as I counsel more people on site and through email and so on in the days ahead too. So I hope that you will find these conversations as helpful as I have in my own life. But this week, before we dive into these other styles, I want to talk about what some people refer to as the traditional textbook style. That is the style of homeschooling that's going to be most akin to what you would have experienced when you were in school, had you gone to a private school or a Christian, a public school, or any other more traditional school setting. Basically, you are given textbooks and you walk your children through them. Now, there are a lot of really great things about a textbook approach to homeschooling. Number one, you have a lot of confidence that because it's all contained in this one book or this one set of books, that you're covering all of the content that your children need to stay where they need to stay. This is really a great approach. I encourage a lot of people who are very nervous about getting started, who feel like the Lord wants them to, but they just don't know that they can. This is a great place to get started because it gives you a lot of confidence straight out of the box. It comes generally with teacher's editions that give you great ideas, that really walk you through each lesson. With a lot of these traditional textbook suppliers, there are additional resources online that are helps for teachers, additional things for your students. So there's a lot of resources to equip you as a teacher to make sure that your students are getting what they need. Another great element of this is for those of us that really like checklists, that really like things organized and set out very clearly, it will come with a set of checklists really for things that you need to cover every day or things that you need to cover in a unit or whatever. And that gives a lot, like I said, I keep going back to confidence, but I think that is one of the greatest things about this traditional textbook approach is it does give you an awful lot of confidence confidence in your homeschooling efforts. Now, with that said, I would caution you about a few things that come along with that confidence. Number one is don't be enslaved to those teacher's editions. In a lot of cases, those are written both for a classroom and then with addendums for home educators. And that is not a bad thing, but what home educators have to realize and give themselves the freedom to understand is, number one, you're teaching one student and not a classroom full. So if your student gets the concept really quickly, there's no need for he or she to go through 3 worksheets to reinforce that skill. That would tend, unless your child just loves worksheets, that would tend to be laborious and cumbersome and may make them really dislike what they're doing. So don't feel like everything that is included has to be used, but also don't feel like you have to cover every single concept in the book. I think if you would look back on your school days, there were very few classes that you had where you finished everything in your book. The same is true with home education. You don't have to cover every single topic there, do every single question, every single assignment. You have the freedom to pick and choose and delve in deeply on the things that your child really likes or struggles with, and then skim over the things that they don't really like and they get easily or whatever. You've got that freedom, and as the educator in your family, you can exercise that freedom. So I would encourage you that go with this traditional textbook approach, not to be enslaved by it. Rather, see it as the fantastic tool that it is to help you reach your goals for your children. I started out this way because I was pulling my children out of a Christian school that just so happened to be a producer of one of the largest homeschooling curriculums that there is. So it seemed natural to me to start with the entire set of that curriculum for my first year. And it went great. It was that my children transitioned easily. It was very comfortable for them. It was comfortable for me. Where I think that the traditional textbook approach if you're doing that exclusively, may break down and become a little bit cumbersome is when you've got several children that are close enough in age that you could start doing stuff together, science, history, geography, those subjects that aren't necessarily grade specific. The textbooks for that would generally go with a traditional textbook set are definitely geared toward the grade level that they're at, and they have a lot of work for that grade level. So if you're looking at, for example, in my case, I had 3 children. My oldest 3 are within 3.5 years of each other. So there was a lot of stuff that I could do together, and then just take grammar and reading and math and that kind of thing that is definitely grade specific, and have them do that uniquely, but concentrate on the other stuff with some of these other approaches. So you'll find, I think, as you mature in your homeschool and as you get to know your children and your family and your dynamic a little bit better, you're gonna find that you're gonna incorporate a lot of different styles and not just one, no matter what style it is that you're using. So a traditional textbook approach is really a great way to start. It's a great way to make sure that the bases are covered, that you are actually hitting all of the different elements that you want to make sure that you hit every year. And it is a great way for those that are uncertain and you just really want someone to tell you step by step how to handle your day and how to handle your curriculum and so on. Absolutely fantastic for that. But it's got many more uses than just that. And I hope that as we go through the coming weeks and you see these other styles, that you'll find yourself saying that will work great for whatever element of our homeschool, and that other thing is perfect for something else, and really putting together the ideal mixture of all of these different styles that's perfect for your family. Because that is one of the great things about homeschooling, is you as the educator and you as the mom who know your children better than anyone else in the world has complete freedom to direct their education in a way that will be thoroughly enjoyable for both you and them. If you enjoyed this video, you've got to check out Teach Them Diligently 365. Every week, there are even more thorough videos and chats about things that are interesting to you year-round.